Hi friends! Welcome back to Give It a Go Garden. This is the channel where I take you along on my gardening adventures. Some successful, some not, but we're always just giving it a go. So today, it's actually a really exciting time in the gardening world. I would say it's the best and the worst time. The best because it is spring and it's finally warm enough to start doing some planting and cleaning up and just getting our hands dirty again after a pretty long winter. But it's the worst because it's gross, and this is actually the worst type of gardening, is just the cleanup. I much prefer the fun planting. So what I'll do is I'll walk you around some of the things I noticed from the winter, some of the cleanup I'll be doing. I'll likely do a cleanup on another day, just it's still a little wet. But there's been some changes since our last video, so I'll be sure to call those out, and we'll go from there. So first up, this back corner, and sadly the palm did not make it. There is probably $20 worth of burlap wrapped around it because I thought somehow that would save it from our harsh winters, but it did not make it. So overall, I'll be getting rid of the tree. Unfortunately, I'll try and keep the burlap, but over on this side I will just do a general sweep, cleaning up the debris that's fallen back over here. So here is where we used to have our Oran sun patience, and in the fall I was able to go in and plant some pansies throughout the garden. Really disappointed with how they've turned out. In my mind they were going to be this huge bright pop of color, and they really haven't done anything. I am thrilled to say that my tulips have popped up just underneath here, which is really exciting to see, and I can't remember the color, so it'll be a nice surprise. And we are starting to see a little bit of growth in the hydrangea. So I am thinking I will move that, but for right now my plan is to just go in and clean up some of the debris while also leaving some of the leaves just to break down and really help with the soil. So over here, this is our lilac bush, and before in October we were seeing some blooms. So those have since spent, and I don't think they're gonna come back. But beside it you can see that there's this beautiful new growth, and I'm really excited to see what this plant will do. Just seeing all the blooms that are starting to take shape and all of the leaves, it looks like it's in a really healthy shape, so should be quite pretty in a couple of weeks. So changing course a bit, this is our other lilac bush. I did mention that I left, again, a spent bloom prior, and this one looked like it was having some action, but I think moving forward I'll always cut off the spent blooms. This one is also blooming out really beautifully and giving us just our first sign of spring, so can't wait to see what this will look like. So this is our middle section, and one of the pansies is doing pretty well, but not enough for me to do that again next winter. I was really hoping come spring, while we waited for the tulips, that the pansies would really take over and we'd get some beautiful color, and that's just that's just not happening. In the back, that's where our rudbeckias and black-eyed Susans are. I'm hoping it made it. I'm not really seeing any growth, so we will see if they do anything. If they come back, there's a spent hydrangea bloom there, and yeah, just fingers crossed on that one. We do have some tulips as well popping up. Again, really excited to see what those colors will end up looking like. So once again, this side is my absolute favorite part of the garden, even at the very beginning signs of spring. So safe to say, this plant didn't make it, so I'll be sure to pull that. But what I did appreciate was there was some really nice visual interest over the winter as it kind of died. It really kept its structure and just recently pulled over. So I'm pretty happy with how that looked. And then behind it, just right back here, those are our lilies. So they're starting to pop up, and I got these from a friend, so I'm not really sure again what they'll look like or the color. So in terms of cleaning it up, I'll just brush away the leaves that are in its way, maybe cut back anything that's dead, and see how it performs. Our roses are definitely going to need to be trimmed. I didn't go ahead and do that in the fall. I'm saving it to the spring. I've watched a couple of videos on it, and so this will definitely be the biggest part of my cleanup. The thing I'm probably most nervous about, only because I've never done it before, but I'm really hoping by doing it, it'll yield some beautiful blooms in a few weeks. What I'm most excited about, though, I mean, aside from the garbage, is this hydrangea. If you remember, there was some black spots on it prior, so I'll definitely be having to keep an eye on it. But the blooms that it's producing, again, I'm gonna want to go in and really get a good clean. This is probably the grossest area, just with the wind. This is where the debris seems to want to sit, so that's definitely a huge priority. Maybe moving the tongs, I don't know. But what I didn't show before is that there is an arborvitae, a really small one behind the hydrangea, that I just don't think with the hydrangea and this bush it really is a lot of room, so I may look at moving that later in the season. But for right now, it's just the general cleanup. We'll do an overall check to see how it's doing. Well, it's a look. You can't really see it, but I did go ahead and I was able to plant the Rose of Sharon's that were initially in containers. I have heard that Rose of Sharon's are the last thing to kind of break dormancy in the spring. Hoping it's gonna break soon, because right now it is looking pretty dead. I will be thrilled if one of them makes it, and just floored if they both. But what I want to really show you guys, and this is the thing that's just been keeping me afloat in the winter, is look at these crocus. They are starting to come up. I planted, I can't even tell you how many crocus bulbs, and if this is what I got, I will take it. It was the first thing that was popping up through the leaves, and it's just so thrilling to see. So you can see some yellow. Can't wait to clean that up, and so we can really see them shine. Now, over here it does not look like much, and I recognize. This was a hosta. I'm really hoping it's gonna make it. If you look, I'll go in and clean up, but there are some stalks that are coming out. I'm a little nervous because I didn't catch it, but Nico ended up digging around the hosta with the roots exposed. So when I go in and clean up, I might try and bury it a bit further. The fact that it is producing some shoots is really, really encouraging. This was one of my most favorite hostas last spring. So we'll see if we can get the same height, but will definitely be part of my cleanup and getting rid of, I don't know what those are, roof tiles. I don't think much can grow from that, so it'll be nice to get that out of the way and really let this garden shine. So that's a quick update on what I'm working with from what's transpired over the winter. It just needs a tidy. I've held off buying any plants just because I want to see what I'm working with, what kind of came back, what didn't. I bought a ton of seeds that I'd like to try out, but step one is just cleaning this up from the winter. So I'll likely start this tomorrow, only because it's getting a bit chilly. We've had a lot of rain, so maybe let the soil dry out a little bit before I start digging in it, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I totally lied. I did buy something because I couldn't resist. These are planter flowers, alyssum. In my mind, they're gonna grow to this mounding, heap in the planters. I just couldn't pass up any opportunity for plants, and I'm trying really hard not to buy any plants, but these guys just, I don't know, they just jumped into my cart. I don't know what happened. That's the story to tell Brad. Right, Nico? Right? Don't tell Brad. Hi friends, it's a new day, way nicer. So I've got my gardening hat and shades on, and I'm about to get started. Before I do, there was one quick thing I wanted to show you that you might see in the video. I'm gonna go around and dump this in here. It's bone meal. It's supposed to help with flowering plants, And so I'm going to give it a go and try it out with some of the lilacs, the roses, the hydrangeas, the tulips, anything that's a flower is going to get it. And we'll see if it helps it out or not. So here we go. Oh my gosh, you guys, doesn't that look so much better? Ugh, a quick tidy. I forgot to mention, but they are doing work up there. So yeah, we're not really sure what they're doing or when they're gonna if they're demolishing the building, if they're just fixing the building, but I did notice a ton of like asphalt, so you might have saw me sweeping, and that's what the majority of that was. So I'm not impressed with that, but I'm really happy to just get things a little bit organized, and it just looks so much nicer back there. Now to tackle this. Wait. This bone meal, my understanding is you sprinkle it around what would be the root of the hydrangea, and then work it into the soil using a little gardening trellis. So that's what I'm going to do, and fingers crossed it works, and fingers crossed it doesn't bring any unwanted critters to the garden. That's interesting. Kind of looks like pebbles? I don't know if you guys can see that. Watch it, I'll be off camera. And for that, I apologize. But here we go. Let's give it a go. friends, so here's a bit of a close-up of what I'm doing as I'm trying to also put on my gardening gloves. So hold on, hang tight. Okay, so you can see my rows that I just pruned. And so now I'm going to go in with the Bone Meal Fertilizer. And, well, first of all, I'm going to move the mulch just so it can really get into the soil. Let me just pull that all back. Hang on to it because I'll put it back in a second. So I'm going to try and pour the bone meal, just take a handful and make a circle kind of around the plant. If it doesn't keep scratching me. And then I'm going to take my rake and I'm just going to rake it into the soil, hoping that the nutrients kind of works its way in. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not, but I've had pretty good luck with the mulch, so I'm going to just mulch it back over, give it a little bit of protection, and then at the end of this, I will water it in, and that's it. We'll see. Okay, fertilizer in, weeds are pulled, shovel is out. I think it looks so much better. So after this, I will give it a good drink of water. But I left some of the leaves in hopes that it's providing its own type of fertilizer. Oh, hello, Shadow. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'm really happy with this one, with this side, I should say. Up next, that side. Oy, I might save that for another day. That's not as fun. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it for today. Really happy with what we were able to get done, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the fertilizer is going to play out. Is it going to make a difference? Am I even going to notice? Are animals going to just come and eat my garden? So I will be sure to keep you posted on that. So if you did like this, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, all of that regular thing. And we'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.